Are you shooting me the bird right now?
Here we go. All right, let's get it.
I think he was.
Okay, well, I appreciate you all for being here today. My name is Rob Pasker. I'm an associate broker here at EXP, based out of Toledo, Ohio. I have been in the real estate business, got licensed in 2014. So it's been a journey getting to the real estate business. I'm an entrepreneur. Let me see here. I'm an entrepreneur. So I was raised as an entrepreneur to the point where my father was sending me entrepreneur magazine subscriptions when I was like 19 years old, and it never left me. Started my first business in college, freshman year, bringing people together, creating culture on the campus of the University of Toledo. That led me to take my marketing skills to the next level. I moved to Columbus, Ohio to finish my degree and build my businesses down there. And my entertainment production company grew into just an entertainment production. If that makes sense. But we were doing podcasting back in 2012. We had merchandise, Heartland Hip Hop, and basically it was to create a platform for Midwest talent, because ultimately I'm very passionate about culture and inspiring a positive culture within the world around me. So that led me to, while I was in school, I was a server. I worked fine dining for 10 years, working with people, you know, in my steakhouses. They were spending $90, $110 a steak per head. You know, I'm selling $300, $400 bottles of wine. But the whole time I'm in school, the whole time I'm, you know, serving in the evening, I'm building up my businesses. So it got me to the point where I acquired a green tea powdered company, a matcha company. So I met a young man, and going to the coffee shop I would go to, he was importing matcha green tea powder. And I was kind of blown away because I had never heard of matcha green tea before. I drink tea nearly every day, and I never thought about matcha or learned about it. So when I tried it, you know, I was impressed, and I asked him, you know, was he making any money? And he wasn't making any money. So I gave him my business card, because that's what I do. I'm always looking for opportunities. And I told him that I would work with him to help him build his business plan. And through working with him, after a few months, we put a business plan together, has 7 different sales channels mapped out, as well as marketing and branding. I told him I wanted equity in the property and in the company. And he kind of stopped talking to me. But, you know, a few months later, he comes to me and tells me that he's going to dissolve the company, and asked me if I wanted everything before he got rid of everything. And of course I said yes. So that was my first acquisition in Go Matcha Go. And then what we were doing was I would bring in 20 kilos of green tea powder into the country from South Korea, from Japan, and we would break it down into 30 and 80 gram bags and sell it through 7 different sales channels. But the whole point of me putting my time and energy into Go Matcha Go was to raise money to affect the culture, specifically in the youth, but in the families around me. So in doing that, you know, I found myself doing everything in the business, from the logistics to the sourcing, to the marketing, to the branding, to the sales. And it just got to be too much. And so I looked for ways to automate my supply chain. And that's when I came into the real estate industry, because one of my good friends was 3rd generation in his grandmother's real estate brokerage. And so when I came back to Toledo, the goal was for me to open up a branch of their brokerage in Toledo. They never did. So with that being said, I went forth and started my own brokerage. And I found myself in my own brokerage after 5 years of being an independent broker. I found myself in the same position that I was with Go Matcha Go, when I found myself doing everything. And we've helped a lot of people, helped a couple hundred families in a matter of 4 or 5 years here in Northwest Ohio. And it was okay when I had a couple agents, 3 agents. We have a nice system in place, and it would run like a supply chain. So the whole goal of me starting my brokerage was to create a real estate supply chain where we could meet the needs of our community through a process. You know, we put systems and technology in place to get the end result, which is real estate success for everybody involved. And it worked. The system, it works until I started growing my brokerage up from 3 to 5 to 8 to 9 to 10, 12 agents. Then I found myself with that many agents by myself. It became a lot for me to handle. The compliance with the state, it became expensive. You know, if you can imagine paying for all the technology for this many people. As far as training is concerned, I'm a teacher. I graduated, got my degree in 2012, and I always worked in schools up until about 2018, 2019. So I'm a natural educator, but I found myself limited by myself as far as educating my agents and giving them what they needed to succeed. And so I felt like I was kind of lacking in that area. And so with me being conglomerate minded, with me being progressive minded, I'm always thinking about what's the next step. How can I elevate? How can I create more effective and efficient systems? I started looking at different brokerage models because, like I said, I feel like as an independent broker, I had a ceiling here in Northwest Ohio on the type of income that I can make and the type of opportunities that I could take advantage of. So I interview with many different brokerages. I've interviewed with Coldwell Banker, ERA, Century 21, Keller Williams even, but nothing that no system or brokerage that I looked at has the model that EXP has. And so for me, what it came down to was a lot of it was pride because my brokerage name was Pasker Real Estate. That's my name. So it's for me, I did it for years. Hey, you already know who it is and what it be. This is Rob P. Pasker Real Estate, New Millennium Real Estate Services for the people. I built the brand for myself. So for me to shut down my namesake brokerage, for one, it was a decision of pride because that's tough, if you can imagine. But that had to be like the hardest part, honestly, because when I looked at the systems that EXP provides, as far as the CRM, as far as SkySlope, as far as Dotloop, you know, those are all things that I was paying for myself with my own brokerage that now EXP is going to front the cost or take on the majority of the cost in that regard. That saves me a lot of money. When it comes to the education, I'm a bomb teacher, don't get it twisted, but now with EXP and collaborating with my team, with my uplines and just EXP in general with Grant Cardone and what he brings to the table, it's endless information. There's endless opportunity. So if a person is hungry, if a person is passionate, if a person wants to change their life, you know, I'm a firm believer that knowledge is power, but I also define power as the ability to change. So with EXP, they provide the education that's going to give people the knowledge to not only change their lives, but also change the lives of the people around them, including their family, including their community. Being an entrepreneur, being entrepreneurially minded, I'm always thinking about how I can diversify my income stream. So the income streams, you know, the different opportunities to make money outside of just transactional affairs within the real estate business, the revenue share. I mean, I'm already a real estate broker. I already bring people into the business. So it only makes sense that I align myself with a system that will allow me to not only maximize the opportunities that I create for myself, but also take me to a whole nother level by opening doors. Because now with EXP, you know, I can build relationships and build businesses with real estate professionals all over the world. There's nothing like it. And then also you start to think about retirement. Everybody knows, you see these realtors working until their 70s and they don't knock it because you got to keep moving, because if you don't move, you lose it. But I don't want to be that guy in my late 60s still needing to sell a house, you know, in order to pay my bills. And with the stock options and the ways to build equity within the company, you know, like I said, it's so much. So I'm excited, you know, to bring my people over with me. I'm excited to be here because with EXP, I truly believe that, you know, iron sharpens iron. And I'm a firm believer in synergy and aligning myself with people in organizations that have mutual goals, because within that synergy, we can just come together, unite, and take things to a whole nother level. And so that's why I dissolved my brokerage to join EXP, because for me, ultimately what it does is it takes the top off. It takes the top off of my limits and as an independent broker. So I'm excited, and we're taking it to another level. You know, we just picked up an agent in Akron this week, you know, and I'm in Toledo, and we're expanding. We're expanding. We have people looking at us from all over the country, from LA, from Tennessee, from the Carolinas, all over. So I'm ready to take the top off and take it to a whole nother level. And I just want to thank Elena for being here, for taking the time because she's a very busy woman, but taking the time to come with us and share why she joined EXP, you know, and the value that she finds in EXP. So, and also want to shout out to my uplines, Jeff Corleone and Claudine Hibbert. I met them in Miami. I went to the National Association of Real Estate Brokers Midwinter Conference. It had to be in about 2019. And Claudine was the president of the South Florida Realtors Board at that point. I believe Jeff was maybe the vice president at that time, but I met them there. And just being at the conference and seeing how they operate and move, I could tell that they were built different, and we connected. And I, you know, when you stay connected with someone on social media, you just see the growth. And I saw Claudine join EXP, and I just saw how her business exploded. I just saw how the opportunity started to pour into her business, into her life. And then I saw Jeff join, and I just saw how Jeff elevated his whole presence, and just the professionalism of Jeff and Jeff's consistency and his tenacity. You know, that's something that I admire myself. And like I said, if I'm going to play this game, let me put myself on the winning team. I want to align with winners, you know, because I'm a winner. In fact, I'm a whole champion. You know, I've been through things. I've overcome things that's taken greater men than me. But with that being said, I still have a lot of room for improvement. So I want to align with people that I can grow from and learn from, but also share what I know so we can all grow together. So shout out to them. And Elena, you here? You rocking with us?
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm loving every minute of it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Tell us what you got. Tell us what's good with EXP, Elena.
Okay. A lot of things are good with EXP. So yeah, I basically came over to EXP initially. For those of you that don't know the story, I initially came over because Glenn Sanford, the founder of EXP, and my husband, Grant Cardone, were trying to figure out how to have Grant's training material on the EXP platform. And so Glenn didn't know how the deal was going to facilitate because Grant wasn't a realtor or in EXP. So it was, they've never had an outsider come in before. So there was a little bit of, you know, having to figure it out. Well, at which point I raised my hand and said, do you want me to get the real estate license? Would that help you? And at that point, this was a little over a year ago, Glenn said, yes, this is a brilliant idea. 62% of women are actually realtors, and we have husband and wife teams, and this will be genius. So I thought, I'm just going to go do the quick test so they could do the deal. And that was it. I didn't think I was going to be sidestepping a multi-billion-dollar corporation industry that we've created with everything Cardone to go over here and start working with EXP. But once I found the model, I realized I have no other option, because as the woman behind the man, beside the man, however you want to phrase that, I have had the opportunity to do what I do with our organization and with Grant, but I've never had the opportunity to be that woman behind the thousands. And that's really my spiritual legacy play at this point, which is, you know, I want to bring what I can offer in terms of what I did for our organization. Can I offer that to other people and have them reach the kind of successes that they want? So what my skill set, my superheroism, my power is I offer infrastructure, the mindset, and support. So those are my three things. Like, I can't build your business for you. I didn't build the business in our organization. Grant did all the heavy lifting. He did the building. I would have the ideas, the vision. I would support him. I was like, I never said, come home, when's enough enough? You know, I was always like, you can do more. What about this? I'm a connector. That's just my superheroism. So why I came on board is because of this model. And I'll tell you about it because if you know anything about my husband, Grant Cardone, his whole purpose and our whole mission of everything Cardone, our mission statement is to have a person winning with our products and services. So he's put out probably 9,000 free videos on YouTube to help people, to all the paid stuff that we provide. But ultimately, it's to get people to a place where they are financially stable, which will eventually lead to financial freedom, to financial legacy, so that's why this model offers what everything that we preach and want to deliver. So in full transparency, we do work hand in hand, but in full transparency, I figured if I came on to EXP and I could build the largest, most successful real estate team in the world, and if I could get every single person, or at least the empire builders within the organization, to be producing at such massive levels that you had so much surplus income, which is attainable in this model. I swear I'm going to get into it. But if I could get everyone producing at such high levels with your extra income that you don't know what to do with, rather than going and storing it in the bank and getting tricked about what, I won't go off into that whole conspiracy theory about that. But my ideal scene would be to take the money that you made, you invested in Cardone Capital, we buy income producing assets, and ultimately, Grant, and my goal is that we would be preserving, protecting your money, paying you monthly by our distributions from that income producing assets, because we buy multifamily, and that we would be paying you, as another form of income, cash flow. To piggyback on what Rob was saying, he was saying that he liked the income streams, and I just want to comment that every truly wealthy person understands that you can earn your way to rich, but you cannot earn your way to wealth. The only way to have wealth is through a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth stream of income. The only way wealthy people, you can study it, I've studied it. The only way you can actually create wealth, if that is truly your desire and freedom and retirement and these things that have been mentioned on this phone call, is to have your money working for you, whether you show up for actual physical work or not. That's the only way to actually become wealthy. So with that, this model, I have broken it down into 3 buckets. I wanted to make it very simple. I like things simple. The first bucket is your earned income. This is the commission based. So EXP takes 20%. They take 20% until you reach a cap at 16,000. So when you hit the 16,000 with EXP, then you're at 100% commission earnings. Now you will, and they can get into this later. We don't have to get into everything so technical, but in bucket number 1, after you are at 100% commission, at that point, you're going to be paying, like, I think it's, and correct me, I know Angelique probably has this better, but it's probably around a $250 transaction fee. Oh, I thought you did all the coordinating for Claudia, but it's around $250 per transaction fee, but you're at 100% commission after you cap at 16,000. Okay. It's $150 to join an EXP. So you can see the barrier to entry is super easy. It's $85 a month. That includes this access to this platform that we have with EXP that has 80 hours of training that you can access whenever you want. You have access to your broker in the state that you're in within moments on this. And we can show it to you after if somebody has access to Verbella on this call. I think Robin might still be on this call if you make her a host. You have Sky Slope there where we do all of our contracts. You have KV Core where you have all of your lead gen and all the type of support you need from that aspect of things. So that's bucket number 1. That's your earned income. If you want to retire or you do not sell a home, you do not earn money other than your commission based. So then that leads me to bucket number 2. Bucket number 2 is your equity ownership. This is where you actually get to have a piece of the company that's a publicly traded company, and they award you when you hit certain benefits in EXP. So the first way, I'll just run through them quickly because I can't wait to get to bucket number 5, which is bucket number 3, which is exciting. So bucket number 2 is this equity ownership. This is willable, by the way. So your stock, when you earn the stock, if if something were to happen to you, You can will this to your next of kin. But you can earn the stocks in 5 ways. The first way is this icon award. The cap that you paid the $16,000 to EXP in bucket number 2 gives you the opportunity to earn that back in the equivalent of stock. What you have to do to earn that is from the minute you cap at 16,000, if you do an additional 20 transactions, or you earn 500,000 in GCI, whichever comes first, you hit what's called the icon bonus. When you hit that, you get your $16,000 equivalent in the EXP stock. That's number 1. Number 2, every time you do your first transaction of the year, EXP gives you stock. Number 3, when you cap at EXP, they give you stock. Number 4, when you bring somebody in directly, so Jeff brought in Rob directly, and then Claudiane brought in Jeff, okay? So it goes Claudiane, Jeff, Rob. Well, when Rob does his first transaction, and it's a one-time only thing, but Jeff will receive a $400 worth of EXP stock. Claudiane will not, because she did not bring in Rob directly. But when Jeff does his first transaction, Claudiane already received a $400 stock award value at EXP. So as many people as you bring into EXP directly, every time they do their first transaction, you get stock. So if you brought 40 people in, they do their first transaction. I think is that 16,000? I'm really bad at math. That's, I think, 16,000 worth of EXP stock. Okay, so the last way to get stock at EXP is you can opt into a program where you can spend 5% of your commission to purchase EXP stock at a 10% discount. So those are the 5 ways that you can earn the stock awards at EXP. Again, this is willable, okay? If Rob mentioned these other companies, he looked at Sotheby's, he looked at some of these other franchises. Well, he's going to have to pay franchise fees for 1. Number 2, no matter how many agents he brings in or what bonuses he hits, he's never got ownership of the company. Unless he spent a lot of money to become a franchise holder, he does not get to be partners in ownership of that company that he works for. So this is appealing to people in today's times that understand they need multiple sources of income to get to financial freedom and certainly financial legacy, which brings me to bucket number 3. So bucket number 3 is interesting and exciting because this bucket is here for you to build a business within a business if you want to. If you don't want to build this bucket number 3, you don't have to. If you don't like the thought or the idea of attracting agents or recruiting agents, you didn't get in to become a realtor, to be a recruiter, then it's totally fine. No one from EXP Corporate's going to call you and say, why haven't you recruited anyone? It's not going to be like that. But if you are interested in attracting or recruiting people, EXP says, you know what? It's the agents that make the agency successful. So how can I award and recognize the agents for bringing people up that are going to build up this company? So what they have done is they have set up a system where you can bring in somebody up to 7 people deep. So if I bring in Angelique, and then she brings in Robert, and who brings in Connie, who brings in Boss Lady, who brings in Claudiane, who brings in me, who brings in Robin. Every time any one of these people in her downline does a transaction, EXP, from EXP's side, is going to pay her a commission from that as a reward, an actual monetized commission, not stock. This is money that will get direct deposited into your bank account monthly based on how many people you have in your network and who's producing. But the upside to this is now you're not just limited to Ohio. So now Rob can attract anyone from any of the 50 United States plus the 20 other countries that we're available in that he has access through social media to meet and get in front of. So he can build a team in Brazil and not speak Portuguese because maybe Rob brings in his neighbor who's Portuguese, who's Brazilian, that speaks Portuguese. She's a realtor. She comes in, she tells her mom and her sister, they bring in 200, 500, 1,000 agents in Brazil. Next thing you know, Rob's getting paid on all of them and he doesn't know or speak the language. He's never been to Brazil and he's never spoken Portuguese. So you see how amazing this opportunity is. So now, if you're okay with it, I'd love to show this revenue share calculator that we use to calculate what it would look like to show you what you could be earning a year. Does anyone have access to put that on? Okay, it looks like Robin does. So I'm going to show you this revenue share calculator. It's just an example of a potential idea of what you could make. Again, this isn't put out by EXP. I'm not telling you that you're going to make this. I'm saying if you had this in your organization producing these type of numbers, this is what you could expect. But again, everyone inside of the organization has to be producing. You don't get awarded just for bringing people in if they don't produce. But let me just show you what this kind of calculation, which is why this is such a mind-blowing number, because there's no ceiling on what you could build out in this revenue share bucket number 3. Because bucket number 1, you're only so scalable being one person. You can only get to so many selling homes in 1 year that you're going to reach a limit. The sky is the limit. So this calculator says we're going to assume the average sales price in a home across America is $350,000. The average unit sold per agent is 7 per year. They make 2.5% commission. Let's pretend like each and every single one of you can bring in 10 people in the chat. Now I want to see in the chat, are you tracking so far? Press a 1. If you're tracking with what I'm saying so far, press a 1. Okay, awesome. If you think you can bring 10 people producing agents into EXP from anywhere around the world, a friend who knows a friend, if you think you can bring in 10, write a 10 right now, and we'll use that in our calculations. Okay, I see enough 10s here. Okay, so then now we're assuming you directly bring in 10 people who are selling a home for $350,000. They're doing 7 transactions per year, making 2.5%. And now we're going to assume for the rest of this layer, go ahead and fill it in, Robin. We're assuming those first line 10 people bring in 2 people that are doing the same numbers. And then that second line brings in just another 2 people doing that same numbers. 10, and then the third line is doing the same thing. But I just want you to see, oops, not 22. There you go. That when you calculate this number, you're looking at an extra almost 500, almost $500,000 a year from other people selling homes that's not you. So this is also a willable bucket. What makes this bucket so exciting is that if you just change the one number, we're not going to change anything but your level 1. If you bring in 40 people into your front line, all producing, all doing a $350,000 house, 7 of them a year at 2.5, and then all of the people that they bring in are doing the same and same and same, all the way for 7 people deep. Now, if you recalculate that number, you're looking at a substantially bigger number. You're looking at like over 11 million annually. So this number is not unattainable. It's not unattainable. There are people in EXP doing these numbers. I want to be doing these numbers only to prove that it can be done. And like, once the mold is broken, everyone can kind of hit the 1 minute mile. So, but look, even if that number is too unrealistic, if you want to just put it one more time, like, what does it look like for 10 people? It looks like 440,000. That's more than most realtors make in a year from selling homes and being with clients and doing a whole lot of work. So this model is here for you if you want to build it out, if you have a desire. Does anyone who's not already in EXP on the chat think that that is exciting? And then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing and then pass it over. I'm going to go to the chats. Quinn thinks it's exciting. It is exciting, right? Let's add some zeros, Elena. Woo-hoo-hoo! I love it. Okay, so let me close out that. So lastly, what I'm doing to offer infrastructure to our organization is I've built a platform. It's in addition to EXP, and then y'all can cover health or the health plans that we have and all this other stuff. But I've built a platform. It's quite substantial. It's been built. I'm uploading it. It's got a lot of stuff and content on there. More is coming. But for example, everyone in our organization is going to have free access to this. When I open it up to the rest of EXP, they will pay a monthly to be on here if they so choose. But this platform is going to have a starter kit on it. So when you bring somebody into EXP, there's going to be 15 steps that they go through that will, when they complete that action, it gives them a check mark, unlocks the next step. These are easy steps, 1 to 2 minute videos of how to onboard, how to get your email set up with EXP, how to go into the, little basic introductory initial steps that anybody in EXP needs to know. So it acts as twofold. One, so that you're not burdened by all these unnecessary calls. And B, you can say, oh, I'm not going to take a call with you until you get through the starter kit, because you will be able to see the agents below you where they're at in the process. So I set that up to help you when you attract people in, to not have all the burden on your own. In addition to that, once they get through the starter kit, I have how to get a listing, I have luxury, how to break into luxury. I have all these specialist information training on the platform that you will have access to, that all of your downline will have access to. There's going to be content of Grant Cardone's on there that is not available in the EXP platform, that is just for us. This is going to be where we have badges, where we can see who's capped, who's iconed, who's gotten through the training, yada, yada, yada. So we can really develop a global network worldwide. I also have on there a page that's going to be this international advertising page. So if Rob is in Ohio and we have a guy in Hong Kong or Israel who has a buyer who wants to move to Ohio, but they don't know anyone in America, they're going to lose that client. They can go into our system, put up the city in Ohio that Rob is in, and all of a sudden, all of Rob's listings are going to come up. So now our guy in Israel or Hong Kong, wherever he is, can now connect with Rob, can now get the referral for that, and we can help each other sell each other's listings and keep this whole community of sharing, not to mention, depending on who's in what downline, but we all kind of receive the rev share portion. So I did that because I want globally us to all have the same sort of culture, the same sort of awareness and tactics. For instance, if we get asked question A, we respond with answer B. And we're all on the same page to take out any confusion, because confusion leads to failure. Because ultimately, I'm trying to set you up for success, for us up to success, so that we're all capping, we're all iconing. So eventually, I can then protect all of your money with Cardone Capital. So, I'm doing this whole platform that you will have access to. In addition to that, I do these opportunity calls. Right now, I'm doing them once a week, every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can bring your people on. Again, if you don't have time to do these long calls, my calls on my opportunity calls are like 20 to 30 minutes, and then questions can get asked to Robin. So it's pretty straight down to business. And when I ask them, when we follow up, because I have Robin on the call with me and she follows up with who is interested. Are you ready to make a decision? Oftentimes people are. Great. We help them follow up. When they say, who brought you to the call? And they say, Jessica brought me to the call. Great. Put Jessica's name on the application. So I'm helping you cut out a step for you to be able to attract people without you having to do all the work. Because again, I want you out in the field selling all your homes, inspiring your teams to be selling and to take away some of the legwork for you. And then every Tuesday night, I do a support call where I'll have an expert come in and talk to us. And it gives us an opportunity to see each other, have reality with each other, stay connected with each other, get the training, and hold each other accountable and motivated and whatnot. So far, we have almost 700 people in the organization in the last year, and that's going to grow exponentially now that I have Jeffrey and Claudiane and Rob and some of you other new faces that I see on this call in the organization. I know Jasmine's incredible here. With your help, we're going to build this thing exponentially, and we're all going to be really happy. So in 10 months, and I've been hitting it, but I'm making $26,000 a month. And if something happens to me, whatever continues to get built from this point forward,
right,
all goes to my kids.
She's making $26,000 a month.
Yeah.
Huh?
Is that good?
Shit.
That's from other people selling things. That's just me supporting people in the ecosystem, So it's exciting. This month, I think I'm set for 20,000, but the month hasn't closed out yet. So that's all I have to say. That's what I offer. That's what I bring to the team. Again, like if you ever need me to jump on a call with important people or brokers or whatnot, I always make the time in my schedule to be available. So I'm here to support as much as I possibly can and to show active interest in the success of you. That is the definition of support. So that's my obligation to you and to becoming successful and building the largest, most successful real estate team in the world. I hope you join us, whoever's not already joined. Let's go.
That's it.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, thank you, Elena. You said the largest, most successful real estate team in the world. Success.
That's the mission. That's the mission.
That's what we're on right now. If
you so choose to accept, that is the mission.
That's it. It's nothing but a choice. It's a decision to be made, but fortune favors the bold. And joining EXP is a very bold decision to make. And if you ask me, it's a statement decision because EXP is a disruptor within the real estate industry. And, we're going up. The industry is never going to be the same once EXP makes its course. And so it's especially a place where I'm at, Northwest Ohio, EXP is very small. So I'm just so excited to bring it here and just spread like fire. And I'm also a firm believer that a candle loses no fire by lighting another wick. So I'm here to support. I'm here to add what I can and help people grow and elevate because that's the beauty of EXP. If one person elevates, we all elevate. The power of collaboration. There's nothing like it. So I appreciate you all for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can connect with me on Instagram at Rob Pasker. I'm everywhere at Rob Pasker. It's pretty simple. Yes. But I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to continue to build with you all. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Elena, for taking the time. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Claudiane, Angelique, Yasmin, Quinn's in the building. All my people with me. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too. Thank you for letting me come in. Yay. It's so nice to meet everybody.
Indeed. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay. Good night.